Hello. Hi. I I think my mic is working great. So first and foremost, good morning, everybody. My name is Jave. I'm the secretary and board member of SGGA, and today I'm just going to share a little bit more about esports and what this world means to a lot of people. So personally, for me, I'm also the founder of Resurgence. We're one of the largest team in Singapore. I've been in esports for 8 years now. So first thing I'd like to share about is esports in Southeast Asia and the world. And this brings me to a very important question a lot of people ask me is that why is esports an important industry to pay attention to? Um, if you look at the world today, a lot of the young are playing games. The time spent on gaming is way above any of the other entertainment platform. And this surpasses the levels of soccer, traditional sports, and the likes. So with gaming as a preferred channel for entertainment for the young today, this basically means a larger audience base, a larger viewer base, and just overall creating an industry called esports. So although esports is a subset of the gaming industry, because without the knowledge of games or even the ability to play them, you don't have the ability to enjoy or watch these games as it is, given the complexity of games. So what this basically means is a new generation of people with very similar understanding to sports, where very similar traction in that they spend a lot of time doing a particular hobby, and thereafter also spending more time and pursuing the high level of play and competition, and that results in a growth in viewership. So currently, we already have top esports titles such as League of Legends, CSGO, as well as Dota 2, surpassing the viewership levels of the NFL, the National Football League, in the US, as well as the National Basketball Association's tournaments in the US as well. This, however, doesn't translate into revenue. So what that means is there is currently an existing revenue disparity within the entertainment spaces. If you look at TV channels, it's currently at 8% of the entertainment time spent, but it has resulted in a 60 billion ad revenue for the entire space. And for streaming, it's about 20% of time spent on watching streams, and it has also generated about 15 billion. But for gaming, it's only 1.5 billion over the 37% of people spending time on games. So this basically sets up the pretext on the fact that there is a lot of space for esports to grow and to generate even more revenue. So some trends that have already arisen in the region and globally, such as the rise of mobile esports, especially in Southeast Asian region, is going to pave the way for an even larger audience base. And that also means that there will be new opportunities within this very nascent industry, such as the fact that the play agencies have not really been created yet. Streaming platforms are all rushing to monetize this particular space. We've got Facebook as well as Twitch and some of the other Chinese apps as well, like Douyu and Huya, that are coming in and actively trying to find a way to capture this huge audience base. That also brings me to my next point on esports in COVID-19. So COVID-19 is a pandemic that has been going around for a while now, but esports as a whole has managed to continue its business despite the world grinding to a halt. So according to Newzoo, which has revised its estimate of the total esports revenue for 2020 to about 1.06 billion, it's a down from the previous estimate of 1.1 billion, but it's still an increase compared year on year against 2019. Domestic leagues continue on. According to Esports Observer, about 31.6% have been shifted online, 23.5% cancelled, 44.9% postponed. But if you compare that against some of the other entertainment means, such as traditional sports, you will see that esports has found its own way to continue on despite COVID-19. And one of the things that's much more familiar to the game developers is the fact that there's an increase in player base in games. So Nielsen reported a 46% increase in daily active users for PC gaming and 17% increase in mobile gaming. This basically means more people play games. And esports, while being viewed as a key retention tool over the last maybe 5 years ago, now we're seeing esports as a key monetization tool. And how can developers work together to create a title that works well within the esports community and continuously retain viewership at its highest level? So speaking about viewership, there's also an increase on viewers in various platforms. So just this year, in the second quarter versus the first quarter, we've witnessed about 115% increase in peak viewership, 70% increase in hours watched from 3.1 billion to 5 billion hours watched just in the second quarter of 2020 alone. So what does this all mean for esports in Singapore? Singapore has all along got a very unique positioning. The Business Insider has reported that most frequent gamers in Asia belongs to the Singaporean audience, spending about 7.44 hours each week playing video games. Singaporeans top the global list for time spent at an average of 1.56 hours. As a nation, we are also a very strong gateway to Southeast Asia as a financial hub. We also have very much recognized legal standards, and all of these pointers bring us to the point of us being a potential to bridge the rest of the markets within Southeast Asia, given the fact that the ability to create businesses in Singapore is so much easier and to set up very synergistic headquarters with the rest of Southeast Asia. There are, however, some key challenges, such as the stigmatization surrounding games, the fact that the Asian parents have a very specific mentality as to how gamers are being purviewed. It's also a path that's being lesser traveled for esports, especially when it comes to e-athletes. And that also brings to the fact that the understanding and the knowledge of the esports industry as it is today for most Singaporeans is just, how do I be a professional player? But all of that has changed if we want to try and ensure that Singapore has got a very strong position within Southeast Asia. And that brings us to the Singapore Games Association and what Singapore Games Association is going to do for esports. As a trade association, the focus is to build a healthy ecosystem for companies and individuals to prosper. That not just means esports companies, production companies, but also means freelancers, content creators, as well as a lot of the other slew of activities that freelancers are known to provide. The mandate for SGGA for esports is to boost the visibility of such esports companies, boost the visibility of available job opportunities within the esports industry, and to boost capabilities to develop talent to meet global demands. Key objectives for this particular year and what we're trying to achieve is to support the local esports events and networking conferences to build bridges, not just locally, but also regionally and globally, raising industry standards through training and accreditation. So that means a high level of global quality that we can put forth our talents, and to showcase achievements of local businesses and talent in the esports industry. And that brings me to a very important point of this speech, which is the Singapore Esports, this brand. So this brand is a consolidated umbrella for all of us, and it's basically the achievements of the Singaporean esports community. Whether you're a player, you're a content creator, or you're an esports business, you've net a very big deal in the region. We'd like to celebrate all of that. And this would definitely improve the appeal of Singapore as a host for esports events by establishing industry-wide standards. For today, we're talking about the first ever Esports Industry Day. I'm very excited to be here and to share my knowledge and time with you guys. Our main objective is to share the insights for the audience, to learn more about opportunities in esports and how you can be a part of the esports industry and what are some of such opportunities you can grab them. So for that, we've got three very interesting sessions. The first one is going to be about Facebook and the role they play in Southeast Asia esports. Second would be a panel on how to get a job within esports, as led by Felicia Lim from One Esports, Beatrice, as well as Dan, Beatrice from Secret Lab, and Dan from Riot as well. And last but not least, we have a panel to answer some aspirants' question on how do teams recruit, whether is it as a professional gamer or even in the behind the scenes as a content creator, and the entire intricacies of teams. I'll be moderating that panel myself. And for that, I wish all of you a good time today at the esports segment of the SGGA Industry Day. Thank you so much.